Hey there, band studs. I get a lot of questions about cut time. How do we count and cut time, and why do we have it? It's kind of a funky little thing, and it's something that we run into in Standard of Excellence Book 2 when they introduce cut time. And so I wanted to explain it a little bit more in depth here, or just give you an overview on how to count it so that you have a reference when you're working through those things in your lesson book or our concert band music when we have a piece that is in cut time. So essentially, it's when all the notes are just cut in half. The note values are cut in half. So a whole note, instead of getting 4 counts, is going to get 2 counts. A half note, instead of getting 2 counts, is going to get 1 count. A quarter note, instead of getting 1 beat, will get a half a beat. It'll be treated like an eighth note. And eighth notes, instead of getting a half a beat and having 2 in 1 beat, will be treated like 16th notes. So everything is just kind of chopped in half. Now you're thinking to yourself, why would they do this? Why would composers torture middle school band students? Well, their goal wasn't to torture middle school band students. It came from when marches were being written and they needed to write notes at a really fast notes for people to play. They needed a way to present it in a little easier way to read, something that was a little cleaner, and they didn't have so many bar lines over it and crammed into one measure. And so they developed cut time to make it easier for people to read. So that's where we get that, and you'll see it usually most traditionally with marches. That's where we run into it most of the time. So let's dive into it just a little bit. I think you're going to find it's not really as complicated as it seems, and once you practice it a couple times, you're going to get the hang of it pretty quickly. So normally in 4/4 time, the beat, if you're tapping your foot or you're seeing me conduct, you're going to see quarter notes. Each will get the beat 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, in cut time, and you'll see it over by the key signature, you'll see the time signature too. You'll see a C with a line through it like this, or you'll see 2, 2, okay? And that means cut time. And what this means is the half note will get the beat. So every time you tap your foot, you're gonna feel a half note getting the beat, okay? So this measure and this measure are actually counted exactly the same. So this one is in cut time, that one is in 4/4 time. So for half notes, it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. That's how we would count our way through that. 4/4 time, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see the connection there. Half notes are being treated the same way that quarter notes are being treated. So if we have a measure now with, let's see here, we'll do 2, 2, and we have a whole note in there, and then we have 2 half notes. Well, a whole note normally gets 4 counts, but in cut time, we're going to cut it in half, right? And you're going to get 2 counts for that. So you're going to be counting here 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? 1, 1, 2. In your head, you'll think beat 2 in your head, right? Because it's inside of that note. So that's a good way to think about that. Now, a lot of times what you'll see in this is you'll have like ties over the measure to increase the duration of the note. So a half note, or sorry, a whole note plus a half note in cut time is going to get 3 beats, because we normally would have 6 beats here, right? 4 plus 2 equals 6. We're going to cut it in half, so that will equal 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, like that, okay? So if we were in cut time, we would count this rhythm 1, 2, and you're going to be thinking in your head 1, 2, 1, 2. So hopefully that makes sense. That would be cut time, and those are kind of the basic forms, or the basic things you're going to encounter in cut time. The other thing you'll encounter will be quarter notes. So quarter notes in cut time act like eighth notes. So these quarter notes will be kind of like eighth notes. It's going to be 1 and 2, and then 1, 2 and your brain's probably spinning right now thinking, what in the world is going on? So you just have to remember, if the half note gets the beat, then there are 2 quarter notes in each beat. So you're going to think 1 and 2, 1, 2 and. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense for the basic counting fundamentals of cut time. We're not going to get into 16th notes and 8th notes in cut time yet, That doesn't happen until book 3, and we'll address that later on this year. But hopefully this gives you just kind of a flyby overview of how to count those rhythms and how to approach those when you see them in your music. I would suggest writing in the counting underneath so that you get used to how to count and cut time. You see it, you write it out, count it out loud, maybe even clap it while you're counting it before you play it. So that way you're not trying to play and count and figure out how to do cut time all at once. That'll probably help you in the process. Don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. Keep up the great work.